Breaking news. Okay, this is huge. I mean, first Matt Gaetz nominated for Attorney General, and now President Trump officially. Everyone was waiting for it. Everyone was asking, what is going on with RFK Jr.? Why has he not been appointed to a cabinet position yet? But per Politico, President Trump expected to nominate RFK Jr. for Secretary of Health and Human Services. Let's freaking go. Prosecute Fauci. Let's go look at all the data. Look at all of this sludge poisoning our country. Arguably the most combative against these giant food companies who increase their profits, line their own pockets. You walk down the grocery store aisle, you see all these dyes and all this processed food, and you're like, what is even going on here? It's barely edible. RFK Jr., he is in your corner when it comes to all of the trash food that we are presented with on a day-to-day basis when we go into our grocery stores. This was reported on by Politico. Breaking news, Trump expected to select RFK Jr. to lead HHS. Let's go. This is crazy. Their subheadline is, the choice will roil many public health experts after his years of touting debunked claims. Oh, yeah? You know, I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say, I don't believe RFK touts any more debunked claims than the experts, right? Than science itself. I think we found that out during COVID. Debunked claims, though, that vaccines cause autism. Article says President-elect Donald Trump is expected to nominate former presidential candidate and anti-vaccine activist RFK Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, according to a person with direct knowledge of the selection. So a lot of people wondering, why did it take so long? And from what I've gathered, this is what I've gathered. There were some people in the Trump camp that actually wanted Ben Carson to be the head of HHS, not RFK Jr. So they might have, kind of went back and forth about it. But Donald Trump, he was probably like, listen, I made a promise to RFK Jr. He helped me get elected. He brought in all of these independents who voted for me, who voted for change. He deserves this spot. And you know what? I love Dr. Ben Carson. I think he would have been a fantastic pick. But RFK Jr. is the man for the job. He is the man to step up and take the mantle. I believe that 100% for Donald Trump's administration. The expected pick, which will roil many public health experts, comes after Trump promised to let Kennedy go wild with health and food policy in his administration after Kennedy dropped his own presidential bid to endorse the now president-elect. It's also a sign of the opening Trump sees after he scored a massive, decisive electoral victory and Republicans won a comfortable majority in the Senate. Trump could still select someone else for the post. The Trump transition couldn't immediately be reached for comment. Quote, he's going to help make America healthy again. He wants to do some things, and we're going to have to let him get to it, Trump said in his victory speech. Go have a good time, Bobby. Kennedy, who is 70 years old, may still face a steep slope to confirmation after his years of touting debunked claims. Debunk. There's that debunk. They like to insert these little words in there. Debunk this, debunk that. When it comes to, someone going against the tide, if you make even one small mistake, if you slip up one time, the media, the corporate press will define you by that mistake. But when you're an expert, it doesn't matter. So when I see stuff like debunked and misinformation, all these things, I'm like, yeah, right. Okay, Politico. You are on the side of the regime. You are on the side of the censorship apparatus, the machine. So I'm just going to go ahead and not read that. Touting the claims that vaccine cause autism, wrote a book accusing former NIH official Anthony Fauci of conspiring with tech mogul Bill Gates and drug makers to sell COVID-19 vaccines, and said regulatory officials are industry puppets who should be removed. And RFK Jr. has actually talked about this book. I believe, what is it called? The Real Anthony Fauci. I have not read the book yet. I need to read it. I heard it's fantastic. But one interesting fact about this book that you may not know. Yes, it makes a lot of claims about Anthony Fauci. A lot of very serious claims. And someone in Anthony Fauci's position, high level position at the time, he's got a lot. He makes a lot of money. High level government official. He would have grounds to brutally sue RFK Jr. if he was making really false allegations and false claims in his book. But you know what RFK Jr. has said? I've never been sued. Why? Because it's all true. It's all true. So they can write this. He's written this book of Anthony Fauci conspiring with tech mogul Bill Gates and drug makers to sell COVID-19 vaccines. But hey, Politico, how about you write in your article that he's never been sued? So that implies that he is in fact correct. Okay. And I believe that he is in fact correct. In recent weeks, Kennedy has hit the media circuit to say he isn't taking vaccines away from anyone. Quote, I'm going to make sure scientific safety studies and efficacy are out there and people can make individual assessments about whether that product is going to be good for them, he told MSNBC. And, it's really funny how they are framing this. They're acting like he has been an advocate for taking away vaccines. No. RFK Jr., I've listened to hours of RFK Jr. and, he's been on Joe Rogan. He's been on many podcasts, Theo Vaughn. He's never said he wants to take vaccines away from people. I've never heard him say that. He's always been a huge advocate for transparency. That's it. He's never said he wanted to take vaccines off the market. Article goes on. He also claimed that the Trump administration would recommend against drinking fluoride in water, recommend against fluoride in drinking water, which is a good move. If you don't have a filter, a fluoride filter, I heavily recommend one. It just makes the water taste better. Okay. So I agree with that, which is added to prevent cavities. Kennedy has said it's almost certainly causing a loss of IQ in children, as some studies have found. Yes, some studies have found. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. RFK Jr. Wow. I am ecstatic at this selection. I knew it was probably coming, but I wasn't sure. I was kind of hearing the crickets for a while. I was like, what's going on? Where is RFK Jr.? Why is he not being nominated? And then this dropped. Of course, this is, coming from sources, right? So this may not happen. But, I feel like it has to. RFK Jr. has to be nominated for this position. It is the perfect role for RFK Jr. in Donald Trump's administration. It is. It just is. And wow, what an administration. There's been one pick that I've been very uncomfortable with. That's Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. Donald Trump picked him. Not a fan of neocon Marco Rubio. I said the other day, I believe it could be a situation where Donald Trump made a deal with one of the donors to his campaign, Miriam Adelson, who actually donated $100 million to Donald Trump's campaign. He might have made a deal with her to put Marco Rubio in that position because Marco Rubio and Adelson have a very close relationship. So that's really the one pick I'm just like, don't like it. But then he came out and redeemed himself with Matt Gaetz. Man, Matt Gaetz, Attorney General, RFK Jr., Secretary of HHS. Let's go. We are so back. America is back. And hey, to any of you little sniveling senators out there that want to go against these picks from Donald Trump, listen, I don't have that much influence, but I will put you on blast to the max, to the best of my abilities, to the max of my capacity. Hopefully by then I'll have grown a little bit bigger, but I will do that. I'm making a list, and I know people in this space. So these picks, I want all these senators to know, independent media has their eye on you. These picks must go through. Very important. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about RFK Jr.? selected, nominated, potentially to Secretary of HHS. Let me know down below what you think of RFK. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.